Hey, Sully, how are you today?
What's happening, bud?
I'm just watching my son's hockey game here,
Oh,
and
yeah?
then, we're going to get out and watch some basketball later this afternoon.
Nice. Well, you posted on Twitter that you had a lot to say, and you almost need 2 segments today. So what's on your mind, buddy?
What's on my mind? Seneca. How about Seneca?
Yeah.
Last big win last night for them, knocking off Shawnee. Seneca has been a program since the 2004-2005 season, and they had only beaten Shawnee, the school that's right down the street, twice. So last night was the third time in the school history they beat them, and Seneca is a team that you look at and a program that you look at, and over the years has kind of struggled and really hasn't had tremendous success. And here they are, I believe now they've got 12 wins and 7 or 8 in a row and 11 of 12 and are playing what looks to be some pretty good basketball. So, that's Seneca people had been talking about how good this team was this year and the early success that they've had, and to go out and to beat a Shawnee team that's highly regarded last night really is a feather in their cap.
How much of a surprise was that, Kevin? Had they had any really signature wins before that game?
It's a surprise because Shawnee is so highly regarded. We have them in the top 20 in the state, and obviously they're one of the top teams in South Jersey. Just about everybody from last year's Group 4 state champion finalist team is back, except for a couple kids that have been hurt. But it's primarily the same team, and for Seneca to win that game, they've also in the last week or two, they knocked off a Sterling team that had been playing real well. Paul VI, a team that's traditionally been, a top 20 team in South Jersey. So, they've got some nice wins on their resume. But obviously, last night's win is the signature win that a lot of people will look at. Obviously, at this point in the season, and tell us, that maybe Seneca is a team that to keep an eye on. Right now, they're the number 1 team in South Jersey Group 3 as far as the power points are concerned. They have one more game left before the cutoff that will count towards their power points. So, when those power points are finalized, Seneca could very well be, they could be a top seed. I think they'll definitely be a top 4 seed. So they'll get at least one home game, and possibly more down the road. And that's saying something for a program that traditionally has not been very strong. So, as far as Group 3 is concerned, I still think Timber Creek is the team to beat, and they will play each other in their Patriot Division, Olympic Patriot, schedule. But right now, Seneca, I think, is a team that people are going to start maybe talking a little bit more about.
Kevin, any of the parochial schools over in that Cherry Hill area kind of getting a little bit nervous about Wildwood Catholic? Here's a team that's 13-0, pretty much the hottest team in the KB Atlantic League, and really playing some real good basketball. Yeah,
Camden Catholic has played pretty well. They've had a couple of losses. Bishop Eustace, has been playing pretty well, as well, but suffered a tough loss the other night. But Wildwood Catholic is a team I've seen play now twice, and I was very impressed with them the first time I saw them. I saw them play down at the Shoot Down Cancer Classic. They played Haddonfield, and I kind of thought, even though they won the game, that it was a step back from what I'd seen them play in the past. But they are the only undefeated team in South Jersey. They got a tough game today. They'll be playing at the Jeff Kony Classic up at RV. They got Eastern at 2:00, and that's going to be a real test for them because Eastern is a team that's coming on strong. They've got a Division I player in Matt Cotton who's headed to Yale. They've got some size on the inside with Ryan Ems and Anya Okoro, and a very underrated point guard, I think, in Jesse Barbera. So Wildwood Catholic's got itself a tough game today, but they win this game today. They go to 14-0. You gotta have to take a serious look at them as being the number 1 team in South Jersey right now, given what's happened this particular week with Camden, Timber Creek, and Shawnee. So Wildwood Catholic is they're a very good basketball team that I don't think a lot of people outside of that particular region know too much about. So today's an opportunity for them to show the rest of South Jersey pretty much how good they can be. And at this point in the year, no more of this. It's early season stuff. We're past the midway point, and it's time for the pretenders and the contenders to separate themselves. And Wildwood Catholic is in a very good position today to kind of make a statement that they are maybe the team to beat in South Jersey, at least at this point in the year.
Talking with Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media. And Kevin, tell us a bit more about this tournament going on this weekend, the Kony Classic up there at RV. Some pretty good matchups.
Yeah, year in and year out, Jay Flanagan does a real nice job with this tournament. The fact that RV has 2 gyms really helps out. There'll be 11 games today between the 2 gyms. I think the first game starts somewhere around 10:30. I'll go right on through. The final game is a very, very interesting game with Atlantic City and Trenton Catholic. I saw Trenton Catholic play last night. They've got a pretty good junior guard in Khalif Battle, who, if memory serves me correctly, is the younger brother of Tyus Battle. They played Moorestown last night, and Moorestown gave them fits for a while, but Trenton Catholic comes down and after falling behind for the first time, bangs back-to-back three-pointers and kind of cruised in the last 3 minutes or so to a 10-point win. But, I think we're going to see a very up-and-down game with Trenton Catholic and Atlantic City tonight. Both teams like to get out and run. Both teams have an extremely very strong athletic teams that are quick and like to move with the basketball. So I think we could see a game that could be played in the 70s. And another game for Atlantic City that's going to be a tough one for them as well.
You mentioned Trenton Catholic. I still kind of think of them as McCoist, showing my age here.
then you know what, you are showing your age because no one refers to it as McCoist anymore.
Really?
So, yeah, but they've the last I don't know, maybe the last 10 years or so they've been a power, maybe even longer than that in non-public B, and always seem to have a nice array of athletes. So that'll be a very interesting game with them and AC tonight. I'm interested in seeing what Ray Bethea does, against a team that has some quickness to match them.
They have one of the best nicknames in the entire state, the Iron Mikes. Are they still called that?
They are still called the Iron Mikes.
Okay,
so you're right on with that one.
That's right up there with the State Liners. Some other good nicknames out there.
Yeah, maybe maybe one day we need to do a little poll on the best nicknames in South Jersey basketball. We'll see what we got.
There you go. NJ.com's they have polls like every 10 minutes on something.
We're trying, we're trying. So maybe I might have to suggest that to the bosses.
There you go. I was just looking this morning at the top hockey jerseys, top hockey sweaters. That was actually pretty cool. There was some nice ones out there.
Yeah, and when baseball season starts, we'll be looking at the hats. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Who won last year for the best baseball hat? Do you remember?
Oh, I cannot remember. It's a team from around the shore area. The hat resembled the Milwaukee Brewers' old school.
Okay.
M and the B with the ball and the glove, but I can't remember what. I want to say Middletown of some sort.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So what else is going on in the world of basketball? Who do you have, looking at this point, your top 3-4 teams in South Jersey? What are we looking at, and who's really got to prove something to you?
I think, the top teams are still pretty much the same ones, even though it's been a tough week for a few of them. Camden, Shawnee, Wildwood Catholic, Atlantic City. They're still the teams that I think they kind of beat, but it's difficult to kind of find a way as to who may be the true number one, who may be a 2, 3, or 4, given the fact that A beat B and B beat C,
right,
but C beat A. So it kind of all spins around in your head. But there's some very good basketball teams out there. Everybody's gonna, I think, from time to time, gonna take a loss that maybe is unexpected, and they're gonna, they may go from number 1 to number 4. They may go from 2 to 7. So. But I think people shouldn't get so wrapped up in that. It's a week-by-week thing. But, there's some teams out there that are going to stay near the top, and it's just a matter of trying to figure out who's who. But, we're getting down to, we're getting into February next weekend. We'll have a couple more showcase events here and there, and these teams, will have wrapped up the playoff situation, and everybody will know where they stand. So, I think this next month is going to be very interesting just to see, what teams kind of rebound from losses and what teams kind of start to gain some momentum.
Yeah, this seems to be the kind of year, Kevin, where you can see some upsets. I mean, you're halfway through the season, the legs are getting a little bit heavy, and there's some teams are just it's another week of regular season games. Sometimes it's hard to get motivated for some of these matchups, and you can see that a little bit here at the end of January. But you definitely want to be playing well as you head into the second week of February. So there are teams out there that kind of have to, like you said, make it through the little storm here in the middle of the season and get ready to be playing their best basketball in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's always the case. And I think that, the fact of the matter is that a lot of these teams that are your upper echelon teams in South Jersey, your top 5 or top 10 teams, they're teams that are playing each other pretty much on a regular basis. So, unless you got a team that's clear-cut out there that's knocking off everybody, the fact is at this point, teams are beating other teams, and no one is going unscathed. So, you may beat a team on a Tuesday and come back on Thursday, and that team drops a game. So it's always a battle, and there's those what we like to call, I guess, the usual suspects that kind of come to the top and always are in there somehow, and it's just going to be interesting down the stretch to see how how teams handle situations. And there's going to be teams that are going to be very good teams that are going to lose first round games. There are going to be teams that are very good are going to lose games as down the stretch. But it's just the nature of it, and the fact that the schedule bears these teams playing each other a lot and beating up on each other. So it'll be interesting down the stretch, and we'll see what happens. Another team that kind of has jumped out at me a little bit in the last couple of weeks is Cherokee. I think that's a team that started out slow, 1-4, but is really starting to get on a roll. And they've they're week by week they moving up and up and up. So, like I said, there's teams out there that are gonna knock off other teams, and there's going to be battles on a daily basis. So that's what makes not only South Jersey basketball exciting, but basketball statewide. An exciting time, and we got about another month left, and then we'll hit the tournament, and then at that point we'll see how the team rises to the top.
Good stuff as always, Kevin. Should be an exciting next 5 or 6 weeks of high school basketball, and I'm sure you'll be on top of everything. We appreciate you taking a few minutes and filling in our listeners on everything going on, all things South Jersey basketball. We appreciate it, bud.
Anytime. We look forward to it every week.
Thanks, Kevin. Have a great weekend, buddy.
All right, you too. Take it easy.
That was Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media. You can check out his stuff on NJ.com.